This video is about formula basics. The most basic and simplest formula is the copy formula. If I put in an equal sign, then I can put in any other cell address, say this one, by clicking on it, and it's C3. You can see right up here, I could have put it up here in the formula bar, or I just type it in and then press enter, and it copies. I can copy over here, equals, by clicking on it, A1, and there it is. And of course, I can change it in the formula bar. So I'm going to change this to A2. And you see it went to 22. There's an advantage to using this with autofill. Let me explain. Here's an example of the value of the copy formula. Let's just say you have a very large spreadsheet and you can't remember at this point what the name is from here. What you can do is put in the equals copy, or equals, and then you select, in this case, D5, and hit enter. And you can see that the name moved right over. A little bit bigger on here. So you can see that. And what I'm going to do now is autofill down. Look for the green box and the black cross. Hover over it until you see the black cross. Hold down the left key and drag down. And the name's all filled out. You can see, for example, that Stuart, which is D13, is right here. D13. Another thing to be aware of is how Excel does formulas. For example, right here, if you want to add 4 plus 2, in Excel you would start it off with equals 4 plus 2. 4 minus 2 becomes equals 4 minus 2. To multiply, you want to use the asterisk instead of the letter X. And to divide, you would use the forward slash. 4 divided by 2 is equals 4 divided by 2. And also you could say, I'm going to subtract equals the value in cell A2 minus the value in cell A3. And you can mix and match. If you have a blank area on your spreadsheet, I'd like you to try a few of these with me. So click on a blank area, put equals 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7. And then put enter. And you have 12. Let's go back to that and change it from a plus to a multiplication, which is the asterisk. So we're going to go up to the formula bar and backspace over the plus sign and put an asterisk in there. So it's 5 times 7 and enter. 35. Okay, let's put something on the end of it. Let's say plus 3. So now you have 5 times 7 plus 3. So it was 35 before, and now it's 38. And this leads us into the next topic, order of operations. Excel is actually a great calculator, and like all good calculators, it does order of operations. So it will do a math problem that is in parentheses first, and then it will read the formula again, do all of the multiplication and division, and read it again, and lastly do the addition and subtraction. Let me show you how that works. Make this a little bit bigger here. Suppose you have this right here where it says equals 4 plus 6 plus 20 divided by 2. If you were to read it without the order of operations, the answer would be 15. That's because 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 20 gives you 30, divided by 2 equals 15. But that's not the answer. The correct answer is right here. And you can see that the formula is in the formula bar right here. So the 20 was the correct answer. And how that works is that it does the 20 divided by 2 first, which gives you 10, and then it comes over here and says 4 plus 6 plus 10. So 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 10, and that gives you 20. And just good to know if you have a long series of numbers. Let's try another challenge. Type in 4 plus 10 divided by 2 and make it an Excel formula. So it will be equals 4 plus 10 divided by 2. Your formula should look like this, equals 4 plus 10 divided by 2. What would the answer be? Well, it will do 10 divided by 2 first. So that would be 5, and 5 plus 4 is 9. So we'll click enter, and the answer is 9. And this time we'll change it. Let's go back to it. Let's put the 4 plus 10 in parentheses, so it will do that first. So I'll click up here in the formula bar, and now it should do 4 plus 10, which is 14, divided by 2, should equal 7 this time. And it equals 7. So that is how order of operation works. The next topic is the sum formula. So let's go over here. Here's your basic sum formula. Equals sum, and we'll click on it. And it's this range here, everything from B6 to B9. It totals those numbers. Now the reason this cell has how the formula appears is because I have a single quote in front of it. That turns the formula into text. But here it doesn't have the single quote in front of it. It's an active formula. An easy way to do formulas, say that are non-contiguous, is to select where you want your formula to go, put in equals, type sum, open the parentheses, and then drag. In this case, I'm going to drag here and hold down the control key and drag over here. So now I have two ranges. I have C6 through C9, this area here, and I have E6 through E9, this area here. Now I just need to close the parentheses, and the answer is 42. Another way to do this is to use the formula or function dialog box. So I'll click on this, come right up here where it says FX, and it means insert function. Click on that, and I'm going to type up here sum, because I want the sum formula, and sum is at the top of the list. Help on this function is very helpful. It's probably one of the best help things in all of Excel, because it really gives you a lot of great information about formulas. So we'll click on OK, and Excel tries to guess where I want the formula from, the data I want. Let's just say I want this area here, B6 to B9. I want to sum that. I can click a second range or a third range, but I'll just stick with that and click OK. And that number is 22, just like this number is 22, because they both did the same thing. There's an easier way to do sums, though. If you select a group of cells, you can come over here to the automatic sum function and click sum. So go ahead and practice. Select, come over here and click sum. You can actually do average, count numbers, maximum, minimum. These are all different formulas, but most people use the sum formula. And sometimes the sum formula is easier to see if you see the expanded version of this. So I'm going to expand Excel right here so you can see it better. Let's see. There we go. It actually says auto sum right there. So I'm going to select, this time I'm going to select both of these and click auto sum, and the numbers popped in. If you look at this one, it's M6 through M9, and this one's L6 through L9, and so on. Okay, so just to review, if you want to sum this area, click auto sum, and then if you want to autofill all the way along here, just click the cell that has the formula in it, look for the green box, hover over it until you get the black cross, and then drag to the right. And you can see each one, that's J6 through J9, K6 through K9, and so on. These are called relative references because it took this first formula, it moved the formula over here, but it made it relative to this column. So it's J6 to J9, and this one's K6 to K9 instead of J6. It just moved everything up from there and so on. Suppose you want an absolute value. So let's just take this number here. I'm going to change it to the number 1. And let's just delete these formulas. And I'm going to do a simple addition formula and autofill it. So it's equals this value plus this value. Okay, so we have the top value, the row 8 value plus the row 9 value. We're going to autofill it across. And you can see this, 7 plus 6 is 13, 7 and 7 is 14, and so on. These are relative references. Let's suppose I wanted to make it 1 and 5 and 1 and 7 and 1 and 7 and 1 and 2 and have this one be an absolute reference. How I would do that is I would go to where the formula is, and I would put a dollar sign. I can put a dollar sign in front of both of them just to be absolutely sure. A dollar sign in front of the column character, which is I, and I can put a dollar sign in front of the 8 and click enter. Now when I autofill, the numbers are different. If you look at this one right here, it is 7 plus 1, which equals 8. This one is 7 plus 1 equals 8. And you can see right here, the lower line was filled out relatively, and the top number stayed the same. This is an absolute value. We could change the absolute value in one sense. It's the I that becomes a J and so on, but the 8, the row stays the same. So actually, we don't need the dollar sign in front of the 8. We just need the dollar sign in front of the I. And I'll click enter, and we should get the same result. Because it's I8 on every single one of these. If this one is right here, I8 and all the way over to here. It's I8 and this is L9. So that's the difference between an absolute and a relative reference. This last topic has to do with a totals page and using the copy formula to copy information from other pages and bring it into the totals page. So we'll start to build the totals page. Okay, so here we go. Let's just say we've got our totals page and we want to add information. Let's click the cell where we want to add the information, say from count A, click equals, and now we're going to navigate to a different page. So I'm going to click this one right here where it says DB because I'm on the totals page. So I'm going to click DB and I'm going to select this number right here. You can see I have the marching ants around it. All I have to do is press enter and it's copied over. Not only is it copied, but if it changes on the other page, it will update here immediately. So I'll show you how to do that again. Equals. This time I'm going to go to DB with a space in it and 2. And this time I'm going to click on this number right here. And click enter. And it popped in there. Now there's a little bit of a difference between these two formulas. And I'm going to go to the formula. If you look closely, there's a little difference in these two formulas. This one says DB, which is right here, and the name of the sheet, an exclamation point, and then the cell address, K2. This one is DB, but there's a space between the DB and the 2 because it's this page right here, and there's a space there. Formulas don't generally work with spaces in them, so to accommodate the fact that there is a space there, the DB is put in quotes. So you notice there's a single quote there and a single quote there. There's no quotes over here. But the only reason the quote is there is because there was a space, and if you manually wrote this, you would have to put that in or it wouldn't work. Following the tab number, there's an exclamation point, and then there is the cell address, L2. So I want to come back up here and click on this. I had clicked on this earlier under the Formulas tab, and that's just to show the formulas. So we'll try it a couple more times. Click on this. I can manually write in the formula, but it's so much easier just to click equals and go to another page. Let's say the budget page. Click on a number, look for the marching ants, and hit enter. And it didn't like that. Let's try it again. Equals, budget, and enter. And it went right in. And I've got a sum formula over here, equals sum D7 to G7. And one more, equals this number right here, and enter. When I have students working on projects, there are two formulas that they generally forget. One is the equals formula, and I will use it right here. Equals, and this is just a copy, so I can click on this, and it will copy what's in this cell. And the other is the equal formula, where you copy from another page. And that is, you can see the formula right there. Equals the address, exclamation point, and the cell address.